Welcome to our deep dive into WTO reform. The World Trade Organization, or WTO, stands at the heart of the global trading system, ensuring that trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. However, in recent years, the WTO has faced significant challenges that threaten its effectiveness. From the breakdown of its dispute settlement system to the need for updated rules reflecting today's economic realities, reform is now more urgent than ever. In this video, we'll explore the ongoing challenges of maintaining a functioning multilateral trading system and what's at stake for the world economy. WTO was established in 1995 to oversee international trade rules and resolve disputes between member countries. Its core mission is to promote free and fair trade, reduce barriers, and provide a platform for negotiation. Over the years, the WTO has helped prevent trade wars and fostered economic growth worldwide. But as global trade has evolved, so too have the challenges facing the organization. Understanding the WTO's foundational goals is crucial to grasping why reform is so important today. At its heart, the WTO is a multilateral system, meaning it relies on cooperation among its 164 member countries. This system is designed to ensure that trade rules are applied consistently and fairly, preventing powerful nations from dominating weaker ones. Multilateralism has been a cornerstone of global economic stability, but it also requires trust, compromise, and effective enforcement. As we'll see, these elements have come under strain in recent years, making reform a pressing issue. Calls for WTO reform have grown louder as the organization struggles to keep pace with a rapidly changing world. Issues like digital trade, climate change, and state subsidies have exposed gaps in current rules. Meanwhile, the dispute settlement system, once hailed as the WTO's crown jewel, has become paralyzed. Without meaningful reform, the risk is that countries will turn to unilateral measures, undermining the very foundation of the multilateral trading system. One of the most critical challenges facing the WTO is the paralysis of its appellate body. This body serves as the final arbiter in trade disputes, ensuring that rulings are respected and enforced. However, due to disagreements among members, new judges have not been appointed, leaving the appellate body unable to function. This crisis has undermined confidence in the WTO's ability to resolve disputes and threatens the rule-based trading order. WTO's dispute settlement mechanism is designed to provide a fair and impartial process for resolving trade conflicts. It consists of panels and at the top the appellate body. When functioning properly, the system helps prevent trade wars and ensures that all members, big or small, have a voice. But with the appellate body out of action, the entire mechanism is at risk, making it harder to enforce trade rules and resolve disagreement. Breakdown of the WTO's dispute settlement system has real-world consequences. Without a functioning mechanism, countries may feel emboldened to impose tariffs or other trade barriers, knowing that enforcement is weak. This can lead to tit-for-tat measures, escalating tensions, and ultimately harming businesses and consumers worldwide. The uncertainty created by the situation makes it harder for companies to plan and invest, slowing global economic growth. WTO members have different views on how to fix the organization. Some countries want to strengthen the dispute settlement system, while others seek changes to rules on subsidies, intellectual property, or digital trade. These differing priorities make consensus difficult, but they also reflect the diverse interests at play in the global economy. Finding common ground is essential for meaningful reform. WTO operates on the principle of consensus, meaning all members must agree before major decisions are made. While this ensures that everyone has a say, it can also slow progress, especially when interests diverge. Achieving consensus on reform is a delicate balancing act, requiring diplomacy, negotiation, and sometimes compromise. The challenge is to find solutions that benefit the entire membership. Restoring the appellate body is a top priority for many WTO members. This involves appointing new judges and addressing concerns about the body's procedures and scope. Some countries argue for reforms to make the process more transparent and efficient, while others worry about preserving the independence of the system. The debate continues, but most agree that without a functioning appellate body, the WTO's credibility is at stake. Calls for greater transparency and efficiency in the WTO's dispute settlement process have grown. Some members want clearer timelines and more open proceedings, arguing that this would build trust and make the system more accessible. Others caution that too much transparency could undermine sensitive negotiations. Balancing these concerns is a key part of the reform debate. As the WTO's dispute system falters, some countries have turned to unilateral measures, acting on their own to address trade grievances. While this may offer short-term solutions, it risks undermining the multilateral system and could lead to more frequent trade conflicts. The challenge is to restore faith in the WTO so that countries see cooperation as the best path forward. Global trade has changed dramatically since the WTO was founded. Issues like e-commerce, digital services, and environmental standards are now central to the global economy. Modernizing trade rules to reflect these realities is a key part of the reform agenda. This means updating agreements, clarifying definitions, and ensuring that new technologies are covered by global standards. State subsidies, financial support from governments to domestic industries, are a contentious issue in global trade. Some countries argue that current WTO rules are too weak to address unfair subsidies, which can distort markets and harm competitors. Reforming these rules is a complex task, requiring careful negotiation to balance national interests with the need for fair competition. Intellectual property rights are another area where WTO rules are under pressure. As innovation becomes more important to economic growth, countries are seeking stronger protections for patents, trademarks, and copyrights. At the same time, there are concerns about access to medicines and technology in developing countries. Balancing these interests is a key challenge for WTO reform. The rise of digital trade and e-commerce has transformed the global economy. However, WTO rules in this area are still evolving. Members are debating how to address issues like data flows, privacy, and online consumer protection. Creating clear, fair rules for digital trade is essential for ensuring that all countries can benefit from the digital revolution. Climate change is increasingly shaping trade policy. Many countries want to use trade rules to support environmental goals, such as reducing carbon emissions or promoting green technologies. However, there are concerns about protectionism and the impact on developing countries. Integrating climate considerations into WTO rules is a complex but necessary part of reform. Developing countries often have different priorities in WTO negotiations. They seek special treatment to support their economic growth and worry that new rules could limit their development options. Ensuring that reform addresses their concerns is essential for building a fair and inclusive trading system. Special and differential treatment allows developing countries to implement WTO agreements at a slower pace or with more flexibility. This principle is designed to help them integrate into the global economy. However, some members argue that the rules need to be updated to reflect changing economic realities. Reforming this system is a sensitive issue, requiring careful negotiation. One of the biggest challenges in WTO reform is balancing the interests of developed and developing countries. Each group has different priorities and concerns, from market access to technology transfer. Achieving a fair balance is essential for building trust and ensuring that reforms are accepted by all members. Strong leadership is crucial for driving WTO reform. This includes not only the Director General but also influential member states willing to bridge divides and propose creative solutions. Leadership can help build consensus, overcome obstacles, and keep the reform process moving forward. In the WTO, countries often form coalitions or alliances to advance shared interests. These groups can play a key role in shaping negotiations and building support for reform. By working together, members can amplify their voices and increase their influence in the decision-making process. Civil society organizations, including business groups, labor unions, and environmental advocates, are increasingly involved in WTO debates. They provide valuable perspectives and help hold governments accountable. Engaging civil society can make the reform process more transparent and responsive to public concerns. Transparency is a recurring theme in calls for WTO reform. Many stakeholders want more open negotiations and clearer communication about what's being discussed. Greater transparency can build trust and make it easier for all members to participate meaningfully in the process. Effective enforcement of trade rules is essential for the credibility of the WTO. Without enforcement, rules become meaningless and disputes can spiral out of control. Strengthening enforcement mechanisms is a key goal of reform, ensuring that all members play by the same rules. Despite current challenges, the WTO has a track record of success. Past agreements have helped reduce tariffs, open markets, and resolve disputes peacefully. Learning from these successes can provide valuable lessons for future reform efforts, showing what works and what doesn't. If the WTO cannot adapt, there's a risk that the global trading system will fragment. Regional and bilateral agreements may take the place of multilateral rules, leading to a patchwork of standards and increased complexity. This could make trade less predictable and more costly for businesses and consumers. Multilateralism remains the best way to ensure that trade rules are fair, predictable, and widely respected. By working together, countries can address shared challenges and create a more stable global economy. Preserving and strengthening multilateralism is at the heart of WTO reform. Innovation is not just for technology, it's also needed in trade policy. Creative approaches to negotiation, enforcement, and rulemaking can help the WTO adapt to new realities. Encouraging innovation in the reform process can lead to more effective and sustainable solutions. Technology is transforming trade, from digital platforms to blockchain and artificial intelligence. The WTO must keep pace with these changes, ensuring that its rules remain relevant and effective. Embracing technology can also make the organization more efficient and responsive. For many developing countries, building capacity to participate in global trade is a top priority. The WTO provides technical assistance and training to help members implement agreements and benefit from open markets. Strengthening these efforts is an important part of making the system more inclusive. Regular monitoring and review of trade policies help ensure that members comply with their commitments. The WTO's review mechanisms provide transparency and accountability, making it easier to identify problems and address them before they escalate. Strengthening these processes is a key part of reform. Accurate data is essential for effective trade policy. The WTO collects and analyzes data on global trade flows, helping members make informed decisions. Improving data collection and sharing can support better policymaking and enhance the effectiveness of the organization. Preventing disputes before they arise is just as important as resolving them. The WTO encourages dialogue and consultation among members, helping to address concerns early and avoid escalation. Strengthening these preventive measures can reduce the burden on the dispute settlement system. Looking ahead, the future of WTO reform will depend on the willingness of members to compromise and innovate. The challenges are significant, but so are the opportunities. By working together, countries can build a stronger, more resilient trading system that benefits everyone. The WTO Director General plays a key role in guiding reform efforts. By facilitating dialogue, proposing solutions, and building consensus, the Director General can help members navigate complex issues and keep the organization moving forward. Businesses are major stakeholders in the global trading system. Engaging the private sector in WTO reform can provide valuable insights and help ensure that rules reflect real-world needs. Collaboration between governments and business is essential for effective reform. Building public awareness and support for WTO reform is crucial. When citizens understand the benefits of a fair and open trading system, they are more likely to support necessary changes. Education and outreach can help build a broad base of support for reform. How will we know if WTO reform is successful? Key indicators include a restored dispute settlement system, updated rules that reflect today's economy, and greater participation by all members. Regular assessment and feedback will help ensure that reforms deliver real results. The path to WTO reform will not be easy, but it is essential for the future of global trade. By addressing current challenges and embracing new opportunities, the WTO can continue to play a vital role in promoting peace, prosperity, and cooperation among nations. International cooperation is the foundation of the WTO. By working together, countries can resolve differences, share benefits, and address global challenges. Strengthening cooperation is essential for successful reform and a stable trading system. Stakes in WTO reform are high. A functioning multilateral trading system supports economic growth, job creation, and poverty reduction worldwide. Failure to reform could lead to increased conflict, slower growth, and greater uncertainty. The world is watching as the WTO navigates this critical moment. Now is the time for action. WTO members must come together to restore trust, update rules, and strengthen enforcement. The challenges are complex, but the rewards of a stable, predictable trading system are immense. With commitment and cooperation, meaningful reform is within reach. To recap, the WTO faces several key challenges: restoring the appellate body, updating trade rules, balancing diverse interests, and strengthening enforcement. Addressing these issues will require patience, creativity, and a willingness to compromise. The future of global trade depends on the success of these efforts. In conclusion, WTO reform is both a challenge and an opportunity. By addressing current weaknesses and building on past successes, the organization can continue to support a fair and open trading system. The road ahead will require determination and cooperation, but with collective effort, the WTO can remain a cornerstone of global economic stability.